Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the all interesting pop art. It was a super important shift in the art movement at the time. Now, I've seen a lot of things saying that it emerged in the 1950s and some saying that it's been going since the 1920s. So, from what I gather, it started in the 1920s and it was coined in the 1950s in Britain and later came to the US. Now, pop art is kind of a cool art form. It can be either really casual, like you can literally just change one aspect of a picture and oh, it's pop art. Or you can just make it super complicated. A common form of pop art is generally obviously pop art is kind of based on pop culture. And a lot of them you'll see like comic style drawing with either like a figure. It can even be based off of a movie or something. In fact, a lot of the pop artists, the original pop artists, they started in commercial art. And the whole kind of idea behind this was like they wanted to shift art into being something that included all. Like you could, how do I say it? There's like themes in art, high art themes, and lower art themes, I guess, is a good way of putting it. Like, high art themes are like those pictures you see of like people from history basically wearing no clothes, or, or a painted picture of a historical figure, like George Washington's image where he's, looking to the side kind of deal. That's an example of high art. And pop artists were like common objects, things of everyday, popular culture. And this was like bringing them together. Popular, commonplace, everyday things, lower art forms, and taking them to a new level of high art. And so in a way, it's like you can take anything from anywhere and make it art. Is kind of like pop art. And a lot of it is so there's different sides to this, like there is to everything. Some people think that during the post-World War, they embraced the whole manufacturing and media boom, so a lot of the advertisements, right? Pop art kind of deal. And they think that it was endorsing the capitalist market, but others think it was criticizing the capitalist market. So, I mean, it depends on the artist, obviously, what they wanted. And obviously with art, everything you do is going to make someone else feel differently about it than the other person. It's all subjective. Although what really matters, I guess, is what the artist wanted to portray. And if they successfully did it, then I think they felt successful in their art piece. At least that's how I feel when I do art. So anyway, so I'm going to talk about some pieces. I'm just going to say that my makeup look and the various makeup looks is based on this photo called Crying Girl. And if you look it up, it's this blonde bombshell and she's crying. And, oh man, I totally forgot the guy who did it. What was his name? 1 second, I need to check my facts. And if I butcher his name, I'm sorry. Roy Lichtenstein. And there's two. So there's a 1963 one, and there's a 1964 one. And the 1963 was a lithograph on lightweight off-white woven paper, and 1964 was a porcelain enamel on steel. And yes, I know I butchered woven. I'm not good with words. So anyway, Another popular one is called President-Elect. It was by James Rosenquist. And he was fascinated by the popularization of political and cultural figures in mass media. So at this time, he made a painting called The President-Elect of John F. Kennedy's face with consumer items to the side of it. There's a yellow Chevrolet, a piece of cake, looks like. So it's like a woman is like pulling the cake apart kind of deal. And that face is from Kennedy's campaign poster. And his whole interest was like, how do people advertise themselves? How do they want us to feel about it? And that's really all. Pop art could be just that. You can take someone's face, change a single thing about it. Or even just a few things about it. And you took Kennedy's face, put in some cake, and a yellow Chevrolet. But, I digress. There's another one by, I know I'm gonna butcher this, Eduardo Pelosi. He was Scottish, and he was a sculptor and an artist. And he made a collage called I Was a Rich Man's Plaything. And it kind of depicts a woman in, I guess the best way to put it, since I'm describing things as bombshell, a dark-haired bombshell in a red dress with fishnets. And that goes back to Crying Girl, actually, because in Crying Girl, the depiction was like this woman who was in a relationship, a bad relationship, with a guy who liked to go with other women. So that's like the dark side of the pop art, right? The emotional side rather than the more, how do I put it? I don't know how to put it. Anyway, going back, some people think it was, okay, so part of it was like going back against the abstract expressionists who, quote unquote, searched for trauma in the soul, while pop artists searched for traces of the same trauma in the mediated world of advertising, cartoons, and popular imagery at large. But some people think that it's better to say that they recognize that there is no unmediated access to anything, be it the soul, the natural I'm really butchering my words today. The natural world and or the built environment. So everything is connected. It's kind of, that's actually kind of a nice way of putting it. I like that way better. I guess I should talk a little bit more about Crying Girl here. So actually, I'm going to start about the beginning. So obviously, people think it's been thriving since the 1920s, but it was coined in the mid-1950s, or kind of early 1950s maybe. I couldn't get a clear date on that. Anyway, a group of artists in London called the Independent Group started meeting to discuss topics such as mass culture's place in fine art. Those actually included Edward Pelosi and Richard Hamilton. The group was suspicious of its commercial character and enthusiastic about the rich world pop culture seemed to promise for the future. They discussed things found in Western movies, science fiction, comic books, billboards, automobile design, and rock and roll music. Rock and roll? The actual term, oh, here we go. This is where we learn. The actual term has several possible origins. The first use of the term in writing has been attributed to both Lawrence Alloway and Allison and Peter Smithson, and alternatively to Richard Hamilton, who defined pop in a letter. Well, the first artwork to incorporate the word pop was actually produced by Pelosi and his collage Hours of Rich Man's Plaything, and that was actually in 1947, so I guess it was before the 1950s. So that's the pinup girl, Coca-Cola logo, cherry pie, World War II bomber, and a man's hand holding a pistol. So, that's the origin of pop culture. I'm just gonna kind of chill now, let you finish watching my look if you want to. If not, people skip. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy the look.